Awesome. Hey guys, welcome to our weekly webinar for Body Electric. My name is Jenny Swisher. I've got Joe Cardon on here with me tonight. He works with Beachbody. He works, I believe, with either 2 or 3 star diamonds through 6 star diamond coaches. And I've just been working with him briefly. He just started pretty recently with the company in this position. And so it's been a new relationship between he and I. And of course, one of the first things he said to me was, I'm happy to and would love to speak to your team if you feel a need for that, or if you feel like you want me to. And of course, I wanted to take him up on that offer because obviously I'd like to get as many people speaking to you guys as possible about what it takes to just really continue to grow in this business. So tonight, Joe's going to talk to us a little bit about whatever he wants, really. So whatever he feels like talking to us about is totally cool with me. So I'm just going to turn my time over to him, and I'll let him rock and roll with it. If you guys don't mind making sure that you're muted, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, Joe, it's all yours.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenny, for having me on the call today. Definitely fun to be here and to get to know more of you rock star coaches out there. So I've been with Beachbody just over a year. I was in the West region working with the Diamonds through 3 stars there. And then, probably about 2 months ago, I switched over and I've been working with the 3 through 6s. So it's been fun to work with Jenny and a bunch of the other coaches in the Central. But first I wanted to take a little bit of time and recognize you guys. So I asked Jenny to just send this over to me, and I'm super excited because I noticed that you guys are tearing it up over here. So this is a list of the coaches who hit Success Club in May. So I've got Janice Bogard, I've got Katie Kelly, I've got Emily Kunkel, Nicole Amore, Katrina Head, Melissa Wybrew, Abby Friend, and Abby Rom. All of you guys rocked out Success Club last month. So that's a huge accomplishment. I'm super proud of that. And it looks like on this list, we also have like 65 lives changed. And really that's what it's all about. We'll be in meetings with Carl Deichler, and we'll be talking about sales, and we'll be talking about just things like that businesses have to talk about. And all of a sudden, like the record player skips and he's like, okay, guys, let's get back to what really matters here. Like, how is this changing more people's lives? So the fact that you guys changed 65 lives in May is a fantastic deal. And I think the more people's lives that you change, the more fulfillment you're going to get out of this, both emotionally and financially, right? One of the things that Lindsay Matway says that I really like is the amount of people you help is the amount of income you bring in is a direct result of the amount of people you help, right? So I think that's great. One of the things that we wanted to talk to you guys about today is, what makes an elite team, right? How many of you guys have seen the Elite Goal Guide before? Raise your hand if you've seen the Elite Goal Guide. Fantastic. A lot of you guys have already seen that. If you haven't seen the Elite Goal Guide yet, or you're not really familiar with the program, I'm going to challenge you guys to do something today. Go onto the Coach Online office and look up FAQ number 945, okay? 945 is going to have all the information on Elite, and there'll be a link there where you can print out the Elite Goal Guide. That's going to help you push forward. But before we dive too deep into that, I like to make this as interactive as we can with you guys, right? So I'll be asking questions to you guys throughout this call, and I'm a patient guy, so I can wait until one of you guys answers. So I would love to be able to hear what you guys have to say about a lot of this stuff. But have any of you guys felt before like life is kind of just slapping you around sometimes? Like, you're like, come on, serious? Like, I know I've felt that way. I think most of us have. And in life, really what we're doing is we're working to better our situation, to be on more stable ground, right? And when I think of this, sometimes I envision these people who are getting tossed around by the waves of life, right? I mean, the waves of life are just kicking their butt and pushing them around all the time. So the Elite program to me is like the lighthouse for those people, okay? And the lighthouse is this amazing thing. Like when you're a sailor and you're on the sea and the sea is kicking your butt, the lighthouses are amazing because that tells you where the safe harbors are and how to avoid danger, right? And when you guys are an elite team, you guys are really becoming the lighthouse to other people. You're helping other people into the safe harbor and changing people's lives in a big time way. So we're going to talk about how that is and all of that. And I like to break things into like the what, when, why, and how, right? So as far as elite is concerned, what is this whole elite program? Why are we talking about it? Why does it matter to you? How does it work? So we'll start off with a what. The elite program, in my mind, is basically like a roadmap to help you guys get to success, to really work your business into a direction that's going to help you guys help more people, and also along the way, make some more money for yourselves as well. So basically where the elite program came from is we took a look into some coaches' businesses. We're just crushing it. They're doing a fantastic job at building their business. And then we basically reverse engineered what they were doing. I said, okay, these guys are obviously doing this, 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 and this, right? And then we came up with this elite goal guide that really is kind of like the roadmap to help you guys do the same things. So that's what the elite program is. I mean, it's really a goal. It's like a roadmap to success, basically. The elite program is also, as far as the when is concerned, it's something that happens, from January 1st to December 31st. So we're right in the thick of it right now. And the why is basically, it's going to help your business grow, regardless of if you hit elite or not. If you're pushing in that elite direction, it's going to help you build your business. It's going to help you be healthier as far as your business is concerned. There's also recognition associated with it. How many of you guys are going to Summit? Raise of hands. Who's going to Summit? Yeah, man, this team switched on. Jenny's got you guys all worked in the right direction. So at Summit, we're going to go ahead and recognize all of the elite coaches throughout the rest of, Super Saturdays, all these other events throughout the year. There will be recognition with that as well. And also the top 200 elite coaches get a $500 a month bonus, which is nice. It's like $6,000 bonus. Like, who doesn't want that, right? Now the real important part is like, how do we make this work, right? How does this go down for you guys? And what it's really all about is changing other people's lives and helping other people. The more people that you can help, the better, right? But let's quantify that a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper into that, and identify what that really looks like. There's a few things that you can do to help more people. I was talking to a personal trainer the other day on the phone, and this person that was a personal trainer before, they were working their butt off as a personal trainer, and they weren't able to keep the lights on in their house. So in the end, like, you can really work in other ways to help people. But the beauty about Beachbody is, I can help people through challenge groups and all things like that. But if I recruit other coaches and help them do the same thing, then my influence grows significantly, right? Look at your Beachbody business as, or yourself, for example, as a pebble. So when you drop this pebble into a pond, that pebble is going to make ripples in the pond. And that really reflects, how much of an influence you're having on your society, on your social influence, right? So when you recruit other coaches and you help those other coaches help other people, all of a sudden, you're not just a little pebble anymore. Your influence has significantly grown. Like, you're a big old rock, right? And when that rock drops into the water, it's making waves all of a sudden instead of ripples. And that really represents your influence in the society and this whole trend to end obesity that we're pushing forward. So let's jump into this and talk about the three major things that it takes to become an elite coach. So to become an elite coach, you need to be paid as 5-star. That's like the first thing you need to really push for, right? After you need to be paid as 5-star, you need to advance at least 2 new coaches. So if you're already a 5-star, you have to advance 2 new coaches that year in order to become elite again, or for the first time. And then after that, you need to gain 135 elite points. Now, this is where we're going to spend probably a little, most of our time. And the 135 elite points are split up into 3 different categories. So the first category, in my opinion, is the most important category, and that category is Success Club. Now, the way you earn points in this category is you help your coaches hit Success Club, right? This is kind of that concept we talked about, increasing your influence in society. If you recruit other coaches and all they do is, stay people who are in your challenge groups and they're essentially discount coaches, then they're not really increasing your social influence, right? That happens when they start helping other people. They start selling challenge packs. They start changing people's lives. So that's in my opinion, the most important category, because the way that it works is for every one of your personally sponsored coaches from this year or last year, if they hit Success Club, you get an elite point for each one of them that does that, right? If you hit Success Club as well, those points are doubled. So let's say you have 2 personally sponsored coaches that hit Success Club in June. If you hit Success Club as well, those points are doubled and you get 4 points total, right? So this category maxes out at 61 points. What I'm going to ask you guys to do in order to become an elite coach, I'm just going to simplify it right here, is you need to push for an average of 4 coaches hitting Success Club each and every month, right? On average, the top 200 coaches right now are hitting about 4.25 coaches, their PS coaches, hitting Success Club. So if you're able to push for that and really help your coaches help other people, you're going to be right in the ballpark where you need to be, okay? So that's the first category. The second category is PSPV. So PSPV is basically the volume from your 2016 coaches, right? So take all of your 2016 coaches and put them all into like one big ball. And every time they order a product or they sell a challenge pack or do anything like that, all of their collective PSPV goes into that group. And each time that collective PSPV hits a quantity of 500 points, you get 1 elite point for that. So in order to simplify this, really, it's like shoot for 3 to 5 coaches that you're recruiting every single month. 3 to 5 coaches every single month. Once those coaches come in, this is where the first category is really important. Again, is as those first new coaches come in and they hit Success Club, that's just going to cause the volume that they're bringing into just be significantly higher than if they were just discount coaches, right? So as you recruit new coaches and those coaches begin to sell challenge packs, those coaches are ordering product, all of that stuff, then your PSPV is going to grow. So shoot for 3 to 5 coaches every single month that you're recruiting, you're onboarding on your team. So those are the 2 most important categories. Both of those categories max out at 61 points. The last category is your advancement team volume. And really what that looks like is you take the volume of your PS coaches, their PS coaches, and their PS coaches, and you put it all in one ball. That's your ATV. That's what advancement team volume stands for. So it's the volume of basically, in coaching generation terms, your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, right? So you take that, and from there, what you need to do is you need to increase your ATV over last year's in order to get points in this category. Now, there's a minimum of 13 points required in this category. What that looks like is, you need to get basically for every 10,000 points you've eclipsed last year's volume, you get 1 elite point. So you need to get 130,000 more ATV this year than last year. That's really what it boils down to. For you newer coaches, it's reaching that 13 points that's the biggest. I think that maxes out at 40 points. But anyway, those are the 3 categories. Now, how do we get the flywheel moving in order to recruit coaches and in order to help your coaches hit Success Club? What I'm going to ask you guys to do today is focus on what I call the Fantastic Four, all right? So the Fantastic Four are 4 simple things you can do every single day. Every single day. In order to be an elite team, what it really boils down to is putting hard work into this and being consistent, right? As you're putting in hard work and you're being consistent, you will see the results of your efforts. So the first item on the Fantastic Four is adding people to your network. So on Facebook, how many people are you adding to your network every single day? What I'm going to challenge you guys to do in each of these 4 categories is stretch yourself, right? Name one time in your life when you've grown at a rapid pace when you didn't feel like you were out of your comfort zone. when you didn't feel like you were stretched. There might have been a little bit of pain. There might have been a little bit of sacrifice involved, right? So growing pains are often associated with growth. And that's just the way it is, right? If you're super comfortable and you don't want to change your life and everything's great, you know, you're not going to see a lot of changes take place in your business or in your life. So the, you know, first thing, add at least 10 new people to your network every single day. That's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. If you're already doing that and you feel like you can do more, I invite you to just push yourself in that category, right? All right, so the second thing is you want to have conversations every single day. I had a call with Amy Silverman last year in the West region, and she said, you know what, a lot of times my coaches will ask me like, why isn't my business growing faster? Or, you know, I'm putting all this work into this, but I'm not seeing the outcome. And the first thing that she would ask them is, well, how many conversations have you had with people today? And they're like, what? We're supposed to do those? Yes, you're supposed to do those. You have to get those conversations rolling. This is a relationship business, guys, right? This is a business that's all about connecting with other people. So I'm going to challenge you guys as well to do at least 10 new conversations. It doesn't necessarily have to be new, but 10 conversations every single day, right? And again, if that's a piece of cake for you, stretch yourself, get out of your comfort zone. The third thing is going to be your invites, right? So you need to be able to invite people to be part of a challenge group, to become a coach. If you're not doing your invites, you can't expect them to just be begging you to join your team or to be joining your challenge groups. So do at least 5 invites every single day. So as always, push yourself. If that's already easy for you, keep going. There's a story that I have a coach that I talked to who had a friend that was doing a fitness thing. And she noticed that she'd invited everybody almost, that were mutual friends, but she didn't get the invite. And she was like, I was hurt. I was hurt that I didn't get an invitation when some of my other friends did. And just realize, like, yeah, you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone to do these invites. But as you get out of your comfort zone and you do these invites, there's a lot of people who are waiting for this opportunity, right? And they might just be too shy to ask you, or they might not even know about it. So look at it from that side of things as well. And what I would tell you on the invite side is the reason why the conversations are so important is because as you're adding the right type of people to your business and you're starting the conversation with them, you'll be able to identify, as you've commented on their posts and chatted with them and done things like that, what are these guys' strengths and weaknesses? Are these guys the right people for my team, right? One of the things that Jeff Hill talks to us a lot about is this book, From Good to Great. And it's a great book. And one of the key concepts at the very beginning of the book, before anything else, is getting the right people on board, right? As you add the right people to your team, you're going to have a great culture. You're going to have a good synergy that you've got going on, and it's really going to be helpful for you. So 5 invites every single day. And then the last one is going to be 5 follow-ups every single day. Guys, look at your follow-ups like a chop on the tree. If you're a woodcutter and your objective is to cut a tree down, how many trees do you think you'd cut down if you just chopped it once and you just waited for it to fall? Probably not very many, right? With invites, this is the way it is in business, guys. You have to give multiple invites. It's not just Beachbody. It's just the way business is in general. Like McDonald's, for example, they know you have to see maybe 5 to 7 commercials on TV for a Big Macs or whatever it is that they're selling before you're going to go down and buy a burger. They plan on that. Their marketing people know that's going to happen, and they've forecasted for it. So when somebody says no to you, the first time you've invited them to become a Beachbody coach or to join a challenge group, don't sweat it. It's, that's the norm. Most people are not going to jump at the very first invite. In fact, number 3 coach in the entire network is Megan Ewaldson. And I was with her down in Atlanta for a Super Saturday, and she said, you know what, Joe, I'm so happy that my coach didn't give up on me, because I'd been asked maybe 3 or 4 times before this to be a Beachbody coach, and I said no, but those people never followed up with me. the coach that signed me up followed up multiple times. And maybe the fourth, fifth time she talked to me, I signed up as a coach, and it's changed my life in a positive way, forever. So keep chopping at that tree, guys. Keep chopping at that tree. Believe me, when you've invited somebody to be a Beachbody coach, they're going to go to bed that night and they're going to rest their head on the pillow and they're going to be thinking about the day. And they're going to be like, you know what? Abby totally thought I'd be a good Beachbody coach. Or Melissa thought I'd be a good Beachbody coach. And even if they said no to you, that's a positive thing in their mind, right? And that's going to be something that they're mulling over and kind of stewing on for a while. And they might not have the confidence in themselves right now, or it might not have been a great time for them to join right now. But believe me, when you give that second follow-up or the third or the fourth follow-up, that might be their time, right? So what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is do 5 follow-ups every single day to match your 5 invites, right? Push yourself in this category if you can go higher. What I'm going to ask you guys to do as far as the follow-ups are concerned is find a follow-up system. If you don't have a follow-up system, this gets difficult. As you're like adding 10 new people to your network every single day, that's 100 people in 10 days, folks. Like that starts getting hard to keep track of, right? So there's 2 programs that I love to recommend. First is Teamzy. Teamzy is a really cool system. The next is Google Streak. Both of these are fantastic systems that are going to help you make sure that you're not leaving any potential on the table. If all you're doing is that first follow-up, guys, you're going to crush it when you keep following up with these people. You're going to see results, I promise, okay? But if they're slipping through your fingers because you're not following up with them, or your notepad gets lost, or your dog ate it, or whatever it is, your Teamzy or your Google Streak is going to come through for you, all right? Teamzy is a paid service, but Google Streak is free. Both of them have their benefits and drawbacks. Use one of them, right? Take a look at them, and I promise you they're going to help you guys out. So that's the Fantastic Four, right? You do those things every single day and you stretch yourself. As you're consistent with doing those things, you will see results. What I will tell you is that I like to look at it like this. There's this whole concept of, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction in your life, right? So as you are doing these invites, as you're having these conversations, as you're doing these follow-ups, you're setting these actions in place in the whole universe, right? You can't really see what the result or what the reactions are right away. What reactions are happening in these people's minds. But as you follow up and as you continue to be persistent, you're going to see wins. You're going to see results. You're going to see changes that happen in people's lives, but you have to be consistent. Think about fitness, guys. There's a huge parallel. When you go to the gym and you work your butt off, right? You can't expect to, look like Autumn Calabrese just because you worked out for 3 hours that day. It doesn't work that way. You've got to, get your nutrition in place. You've got to get your workouts done. You've got to be consistent with all of that stuff for months, maybe years before you see real results. So question for you guys. Who here has had a physical transformation through a Beachbody program? Like who lost 10 or more pounds here in the group? Hey, who's lost 20 or more? Okay, 30. All right, so Sarah, how much have you lost?
I've lost, I think, 32 pounds right now from having a baby.
Wow, fantastic. That's hard work, right? I mean, that takes a lot of consistency. Would you have been able to get there if you didn't hit it every single day, if you weren't consistent?
No, not at all.
How long did it take you to be able to do that?
I started January 18th, and I just finished up 22 hardcore a week and a half ago. So from January 18th till then. Like
4 months or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it takes time, guys. But as 32 pounds, huge congratulations, first of all, Sarah, in that amount of time. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
As we're consistent with this stuff, guys, we're going to see results, right? So I'm going to challenge you guys in those 4 areas, the Fantastic Four. Push yourselves in those categories. If you can go higher than the benchmarks that I talked about today, great. Push even harder. You're going to stretch. You're going to get out of your comfort zone. And that's where the growth happens. As you guys push yourselves forward, as you guys do these interactions with other people, you're going to see major results. So really, in conclusion, what it takes to become an elite team really is having conversations with other people, interacting with other people, helping other people, right? So as you guys have become an elite team, so for example, I know Jenny's going to become an elite coach this year. That's fantastic. And what that really looks like is you guys becoming an elite team. Jenny can't do this by herself. I mean, we talked about all the categories, right? In order for her to pass off all those categories, you guys play an integral role of that. So as Jenny becomes an elite coach, you guys become an elite team, and you've had a big portion in making that happen, and you need to be happy about that and really own that. As you guys are helping all these people every single month, what you're doing is you're just helping other people inside reach that safe harbor in their life. So life is going to stop knocking you around all the time, both physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. You guys have the key to so many solutions for people. If you just share it and communicate with other people, you can really make huge changes in people's lives, guys. So thank you so much for having me on the call. Jenny, if we want to do questions or something like that right now, we can do those, or if we want to wrap this up, however you want to handle it from here,
Sure, yeah.
I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, sure. Well, I know that you're eager to get hiking, but if you don't mind taking a few questions, we'll open it up for anybody who has any. I just wanted to chime in on a couple of things that you had to say. I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I actually did a live stream last night in our team page about consistency and kind of not giving up and in putting things out there. It was in regard to what we call 3 Lives Club, which is Success Club, obviously. But I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and for some reason when you were sharing your tips and stuff, it made me think back to when I first became a coach in 2010, when we didn't even have challenge packs, and Success Club, the terminology for Success Club didn't even exist yet. And so we were kind of all in the dark about what we needed to do to progressively be moving forward and consistently moving forward. And so, like for me, it would be, a couple people bought P90X this month, or a couple people bought Shakeology this month. My business must be moving forward. It was always like we were in the dark and we didn't really have any guidelines, because it felt like the network was so fresh and new that we hadn't learned what that roadmap was yet. The same thing goes for the Elite worksheet. Last year, or I guess it was end of 2014, when Arnold shared that worksheet with us, it was like, yes, this is telling me what I need to do, right? Like there's no more guessing. There's no more guessing as to whether or not I'm moving my business forward. There's no guessing as to whether or not I'm going to make Elite happen, because now I have a roadmap to do it. So with a lot of you guys are new to this business in the last, 2 years. So take advantage of the fact that we have these roadmaps in place. We have the Success Club program, the 3 Lives Club program. We have that because Beachbody has done the research on people who were helping 3 people per month are moving their business forward. Therefore, they create the benchmark known as Success Club. Same thing goes for Elite. These are people who are advancing their businesses, earning significant incomes, etc. This is our top 1% of the network. Let's do the math and reverse engineer what that takes. And that's exactly what he just did for you. He reverse engineered what it would take for you to become an elite coach yourself. So I'm really grateful for your time, but I do want to open it up to questions in case anybody has any. So if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself. If you've got like crazy kids in the background going nuts, you can always send a message in the chat if that's easier for you. But please take advantage of Joe being willing to answer questions, and please open up and ask away.
I just want to say thank you, and I really connected with that idea of a lighthouse because my life is turbulent, but my son drew this photo of a lighthouse.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So that was really neat. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. I think we've all been there before where we just feel like life's kicking our butt, and having some structure and some set things that we're pushing towards really helps, I think. So feel free, if you guys have questions about your business, something you're struggling with, how to motivate your coach, recruiting, any of that stuff, feel free. Don't be shy.
I do have one. I'm sorry, guys. I always ask first, but I've always heard the best coaches are challengers first, but I find that I recruit first. So is that a mistake I'm making? Because I do have high turnover.
You know what?
I'd be trying to like slow it down, slow my roll.
Here's what I'd say about that. One of the things that I've seen in the West region when I was there is we did this call called the best of the best of the West. And it was really this cool call because we had these coaches that were amazing coaches, top 10 coaches, all these coaches coming on and talking about how they do business. And the interesting thing to me about it was they all did everything different. Nobody did their business the same way. But I thought that was fantastic because there isn't necessarily a right way or a wrong way, right? But what I will say is that if it's all based on the business alone, that people are pushing for, like they want to work from home and they want to make money, or they, if it's all just business, then if they're not seeing an immediate result as far as the income you're bringing in, and believe me, guys, it takes a little bit of time for that income to start happening, right? Then they're gonna say, you know what, peace out. I'm going to whatever latest, greatest, shiniest object is, and I'm going to pursue that. But if these people are passionate about fitness and they're passionate about helping other people as well as being entrepreneurs, then you've found the right people, right? What I want you guys to really understand is that, as you push for the right culture on your team, these people who are entrepreneurial driven, these people who want to help others, who are passionate about fitness, and that really click with you and your values, your beliefs, your behaviors, your culture is going to thrive and your team is going to grow and your retention will move up as well. So I would say it's fine if they're not challengers first, or if they don't have to be a discount coach before they're a coach. But what I would challenge you to do is get them in a challenge group. If they haven't been in a challenge group before, get them in a challenge group, because being a product of the product will help them stay for longer, right? Another thing to really think about is, regardless of who you are, I think sometimes it can play head games with us when we have coaches that cancel, when we have people that walk away from the business. You guys might feel like you're failing sometimes, right? And you're not. You're not doing anything wrong. I promise you, Melanie Mitchell, top coach in the entire network, has coaches that quit all the time, right? I like to look at the Beachbody business like a tree, right? You're going to have the roots of the tree, and the roots of the tree are like your recruiting. The branches of the tree are like your coaches, right? And the fruit of the tree is like what we're really shooting for. That's like the success, the recognition, the revenue, whatever that means to you, that's like the fruit. Now, honestly, what will happen sometimes, guys, is we focus on the fruit and the branches so much that our recruiting suffers. And if the tree, like the roots of a tree, are not healthy, how do you think that the branches and the fruit is going to do? They're going to do poor, right? So as you guys focus on your roots of your business, you're going to get more and more coaches that will join on board with you. And you're going to have some that will fall off. Like branches on trees fall off, winds happen, storms happen. Those things, might break off. But the cool part is, regardless of what life throws at you, if your roots are in fantastic shape, you'll grow new branches and you'll get that fruit back again. But good question. Really good question, Katie. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that too and just say that in my experience, I mean, two of my diamond coaches are coaches who were coaches and quit and then signed back up later to work the business. So I think it's important to know that if someone starts off and they've not experienced a challenge group before, obviously it's important to get them in that and to just maybe make sure that foundation is reinforced before you build on it. I think sometimes we want to help them make money and rock and roll because they're maybe entrepreneurial minded, but if they don't have that foundation of where we come from, when we come from that root of helping people, if they don't have that basis, then they can't grow on that. So I think maybe just taking it a little bit, not necessarily slower, but just making sure that foundation is there is important. So, okay, it looks like we have a question from Abby. She sent a message that says, are there elite benchmarks to hit throughout the year? can we break it down further? So in other words, where should we be if we're shooting for elite right now as far as first?
So I'll talk to you guys about that. But I don't want you guys to get discouraged if you're not there, okay? Because if you didn't understand what it takes to become an elite coach at the beginning of the year, of course you're not going to have the points right now. But what I will tell you is that if you push right now, you can make it happen. Like Bonnie Engel was a diamond coach, I think, at Summit the year she decided to become an elite coach. She pushed for it, and she made it happen by the end of the year. Okay, so like whatever you decide in your mind you want to have happen, you can make happen if you're committed, you're invested, and you're willing to work hard for it. So in the first category, generally, in order to become an elite coach, you want to cap out category 1 and 2. Those are like your categories that you want to maximize for sure, especially category 1. So in order to do that, really, if you help 3 coaches hit Success Club every single month, you're going to get 60 points by the end of the year on average, right? So for the first 4, let's say, well, we just finished our 5. You won't get the elite report, by the way, guys, in the back on your Coach Island office until next Thursday. So not this one, but the next one. And that'll be through May. So it would be 6 times 5, really, is what it would be. You're going to be 6 points a month if you help 3 coaches hit Success Club in 5 months of the year. So 30 points total is where you need to be in that category. That's just if you are trending to max out that category up until this point, right? So look for that every single month. And then for the PSPV category, you should be at 10 for the first 4 months, because the way that works is the first month you get 1, then you get 2, then you get 3, then you get 4, right? It works like that. In the 5th month, you should have 15 points in the Success Club category if your recruiting has been strong all this time throughout the year, right? So that ramps up throughout the year as you've been recruiting more and more coaches each month. So those are some of the benchmarks you'll want to push for now. You won't really be seeing any advancement team volume points initially if you've been a coach for more than a year. Usually those points start kicking in towards the second half of the year or even the last quarter of the year. So those are some benchmarks that you should be focusing on. Yeah, that's 15 total points in the PSPV category for the year up till now. And each month that gets higher. Yeah. Any other questions on that? I hope that answered some of the questions that you guys had.
My husband's asking me to ask you if you mean that that's 15 total.
That's 15 total points for a PSPV. Mm-hmm. So if you were to combine the 15 with the 30, you should be at 45 points for the first 5 months of the year up till this point. But it's awesome actually to have another guy on the call, to be honest. You're like a unicorn, man. We don't find you guys very often on these calls. So it's fun. Good deal. Anybody else have any other questions, or are we good to go?
Any more questions, you guys?
All right. Well, fantastic, guys. Thank you for having me on the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. We totally are grateful for your time. And we're also really excited to Diamond Retreat with you in Utah. Hopefully something.
Yeah, that'll be great. We'll see you guys, whenever 10-star happens, right?
When we become a 10-star team, we will see you.
All right. Well, fantastic, guys. We'll see you at Summit first, 10-star retreat later, right? Okay, guys. Well, thanks for having me on the call, and you guys have a fantastic night.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Does anybody have any questions for me? I see a lot of you guys are still on here. So if you guys have any questions now that Joe is off, or if you want to ask Chris and I while we're both here, we're happy to answer. I know that you guys are probably thinking like, whoa, what did I just listen to? What does that mean? I know the first time that I heard anybody break down what elite means, I had the same reaction. And so obviously it's something that you might need to look into a little further. You might need to download that elite goal guide and actually try to figure it out in your mind and learn it. And don't just assume that someone's going to teach you how to get there individually, because everybody gets there differently. Everybody has different strengths and different weaknesses. So the reason I had him speak to the whole team, because this was a choice for me. Like I could have, chosen to just have him speak to our elite contenders, for 2016, but I chose instead to have him speak on the team call. And the reason is because I wish somebody would have leveled up my game earlier. I wish somebody would have, I wish they would have not waited for me to prove myself to teach me what I needed to do. Right. And so what I wanted to do for you guys is say, okay, here's what you need to do. Like if you're, if you're really truly looking to make this business a business, if you want to maximize your compensation, your income, if you're wanting to really make a difference or leave that full-time job, then this is what you're going to need to be focused on. Okay. So as a new coach, if you're a new coach on this call, your first focus is making sure that you get to the point where you are a consistent 3 Lives Club earner. Hitting Success Club every single month is your foundation. So don't worry about building on that until you get that rock solid, right? And now involving, kind of incorporated into your 3 Lives Club should be you recruiting coaches as well. So it shouldn't always just be challenge pack sales or customers. You should also be kind of flexing your recruitment muscle and building your strength in the recruitment department. And then as you sort of look further, okay, maybe 2 years from now, I would like to leave my full-time job. Elite is a great goal to have, right? Like to say, okay, this is what I want to do. Becoming an elite coach, I know that I will be earning that income. I know that I will be able to make this step, whatever the case is for you. So I know there are some of you guys on here who have those dreams of doing that and who have the dream of working this business full time and getting to a point where 3 Lives Club is easy and you're building on it. I know that those of you guys exist because I talk to you guys all the time in one-on-one calls. So that's why I had him speak tonight to the whole team. And not to overwhelm you and make you feel like there's no way you could ever do this, but to show you the roadmap. Because if someone would have showed me the roadmap 2 years earlier, I could have succeeded 2 years earlier. Okay, so take this information, download the Elite worksheet, try to look through it, maybe listen back to this recording one more time as he kind of goes over the details while you're looking at that Elite worksheet. I'm happy to answer questions for you. So even if you would rather have a one-on-one call with me, I'm happy to do that. I just want to make sure you guys know what it takes. And what it really takes is achieving 3 Lives Club every single month, like non-negotiable, right? Building that foundation and then helping at least 4 of your coaches hit Success Club every month and then recruiting yourself 3 to 4 new coaches per month. That was my goal in 2015. That's what I made happen. If I had a month that was crappy, I just compensated for it in the next month. I had to work my butt off. Okay. So as my success partner, Aaron Young, says, if you're not achieving what should come easily, you're not working hard enough. You're not focused enough. Okay, so you got to get focused. You got to make these your goals, and you got to just press on. So do you guys have any questions for me regarding anything he mentioned tonight, or any clarification that you would like regarding Elite?
I just thought it worth mentioning that he kept mentioning like how many points you would have. That I just thought it worth mentioning to the people that don't know. You don't see those until you're a paid diamond, and then you start getting those reports once a month. So that's why I was asking about the benchmarks, because I get to see those every month.
Yep.
So that doesn't mean you're not earning points right now. It just means you don't see them.
Yep. Even more reason to hit that diamond rank so that you can start to be looped in on your own stats, because you're not even looped in on your own stats until you hit that diamond rank. So. Any questions, you guys?
I have another question. Do you think that offering to pay for 1 month of Team Z as an incentive is too big of an incentive? Do you think it would not motivate people to use Team Z? Do you think trying to motivate people to use Team Z is a good idea or a bad idea? But some ideas for incentives that would motivate, I'm really struggling, trying to get my team excited. I have some who are they're self-motivated, and I know you can't motivate the unmotivated or whatever, but I want to do something.
Yeah, my personal opinion obviously might be different from the next person's opinion, but my personal feelings are, just from my own experience, that if it comes down to something where, paying for somebody's business investment isn't necessarily the best idea, because that shows they're not invested. So if they're not invested in the business enough to pay whatever the fee is for Team Z per month, or if they don't see the value in it after trying a free trial, then maybe they're not the right coach to try to motivate. Okay, so when I mentioned to Team Z, when I mentioned to you guys about it, and I was like, you have to try this free trial, I know that those of you that I've mentioned it to already are like, I don't know what this costs, but it's worth it, right? Like this is worth it to me as a business investment. By the way, if you don't know what Team Z is, we're going to be going over it in our Stronger Together training next week. So it's going to be part of that. But for me, like I know that it's, I would never pay for somebody's business investment, and I would never try to incentivize them to be a motivated coach. To me, they have to have an sort of like an internal reason to work the business. They have to have an internal desire to make this business work. So I would not personally incentivize with that type of investment. I think people need to make their own business investments. But maybe something else might motivate. I mean, I know that Dawn is obviously, she loves her gifts, right? Like I know that I'm pretty sure she hits that 3 Lives Club every month so she can get that gift. So some people are just motivated for different reasons. But it doesn't have to be something that sort of elaborate or business investment.
What do you think about a incentive that would kind of promote team volume, like a sample of something, or to kind of like get people more excited about like the products that we have?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I'm gonna just interrupt. I'm on Katie's team, of course, and I totally was late to the call, so I'm gonna have to rewatch this for the whole call. But what I was gonna say is, as much as I would love a free copy of Team Z, I do agree with Jenny that if someone's serious about the business, they'll invest at $30. And I also kind of feel like when people have put their own money behind it, they're going to be more dedicated to making sure they set it up and try it than, if someone bought it for them. So I kind of think that I agree with Jenny in that. And I was going to say, personally, like you just sent a little packet of the performance. I've been meaning to try it. I haven't gotten around to it. So for me, I like that. And that's probably doesn't cost you that much, but it was like so exciting for me. Like, oh, I've been meaning to try this. And now I haven't even had to put money on the line and I could try it. So that might be, speaking from one of your minions, that's where I'm coming from.
I love that idea. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when Cafe Latte came out, I purposely mailed Cafe Latte packets to 3 Lives Club Achievers right away, because I wanted you guys to try it, but also I know that everybody had in the back of their mind, I want to try that Cafe Latte sometime. So if I kind of plant that seed in your mind too, that's helpful. So yeah, I think that's a definite better way to go as far as motivating your coaches. Okay, so I'm going to open up for 2 more minutes. If you guys have any questions regarding what he said tonight, or I know a lot of you guys who are on here live are in the Stronger Together training. So if you have any questions about your cover photos or your like page, I'm happy to answer those now too. So I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes. If you've got anything to ask, now is your chance.
I do kind of have a question, I guess, with the cover photos. I'm seeing this about maybe like 50-50 or 75-25. And maybe you put this in there and I just didn't read. But I have my website on mine. Some people are putting a website on theirs. Do you think every person should edit whichever one is chosen to add a URL to the actual covered photo itself?
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I mean, I think it's just a matter of preference. I don't think mine's on mine because I included in I would rather it be in my description personally, because then it's clickable. So then I'm kind of leading somebody out of Facebook onto my website, whereas the likelihood of them seeing my website on my cover photo and then retyping it in to their internet browser just isn't very likely. So, but if you wanted to do it in both places, I would say do it in both places, but just make sure you're definitely putting it in the description for sure. And I know the question came up, I think Tara or you or somebody asked the question about your email address. I know that it might feel a little weird to put your email address out on your social media, but it kind of goes along with trusting the experts and making yourself available as a coach. So if you feel like, okay, I don't really want to put my personal email as a contact, then maybe you create a new email address. That's just coachabby@gmail.com. And that's the email address that you use and you check or whatever, So just wanted to throw that out there because I yesterday did a live stream about the 21-day fix. We're going to get to live streams really soon in our training. But if you're familiar with them and you want to go ahead and start rocking them on your like pages, they're just like money for me. I did one yesterday. I think I only got like 300 views on it, but I did it with the 21-day fix containers. And I just talked about, hey, this is going on sale tomorrow and it is crazy. This is what you get for the price. And this is what the value I add as a coach. And so I just kept it really real. I think it was like a 3-minute live stream. And the call to action at the end of your live stream is money. Like, do not do a live stream unless you tell people where to go. The same thing goes for that cover photo. How long have we all been sort of like floating around the universe with what we think is just a pretty cover photo, but we're not directing people anywhere? There's no call to action. There's no call to action for somebody to subscribe. There's no call to action for somebody to reach out. So you have to have that email address somewhere so that you're reachable. You don't have to list your phone number, but I think your website, your email address, people will reach out that way. So in my live stream last night, I said, if you're interested in hearing if the 21-day fix might be a good fit for you, then you have two choices. You can either go to thebodyelectric.us/start and you can fill out an assessment form that gets generated to me, or you can reach out to me at jennyswisher@gmail.com. I've gotten 2 emails that came today, which means people were seeing them even 24 hours later. They're seeing the live stream. And I got 2 emails today saying, hey, I follow your like page, and I saw your live stream about the fix. I was wondering if you think it might be a good fit for me. So if we don't put our contact information out there, some people just prefer not to use Facebook Messenger. I heard recently, I think Shalene might have said this in Marketing Impact Academy, that like, it's something crazy, like 40% of people don't use Messenger. It's crazy. Like the likelihood of people actively checking their Messenger like an inbox is very rare, right, Chris? He doesn't read his Messenger ever, but I bet you if you sent him an email, he would read it, right? So some people are just email people, or some people just want to reach out to you in their own way. So the more options you give them to reach out to you, the better it's going to be, the more likely they are to reach out. That was a tangent, but okay. Okay, so if there are no other questions, feel free to ask anything in the team page. But honestly, if I were you, and if I was in the position of potentially turning this business into a full-time business someday, I would print the Elite goal sheet, which I believe I even have maybe in the Diamonds in the Rough page. It might be a file on that page. But download it, print it. If numbers are not your thing, ask your spouse or somebody who is, a friend of yours who is, and say, okay, I need some help figuring this out. And then watch this call again, because basically what he did was he broke down the 3 categories that matter for you to achieve Elite. And when Chris looked at this, when I gave him my worksheet a year and a half ago, he said to me, oh, this now makes sense. But you know what? Elite is a 2-year mission. It's a 2-year mission. So you have to know what's expected of you and then work toward that 3 coaches per month, 3 coaches hitting Success Club, all those sort of logistics, right? It's not something that you just decide one day, okay, now this is going to happen for me tomorrow. Like, you have to be working toward that, right? It's a 2-year goal. So if you're thinking it sounds overwhelming now, it's going to continue to be overwhelming until you figure it out. So you're going to need to print the worksheet, listen to this call again, take some notes, and try to learn what it is you need to be doing. And like he said, the best thing you can be doing is tracking what you're doing, tracking the invites, tracking the follow-ups, tracking the conversations that you're having. I actually heard Jeff Hill, sorry to ramble, but I just heard Jeff Hill, he did a video in the Elite Wall, which I keep wishing I could share with you, but they won't let us share it out of the group, where he's like jumping on a trampoline, and he's kind of funny guy. But anyway, in there, he says he was talking to one of the top 3 coaches. So I guess that means it was either Melanie, Amy Silverman, or Megan Ewaldson. Or maybe all 3 of them. And he said that literally on average, they could pull up for you in their current conversations on their Teamsy, like whoever they're currently talking to, they're averaging around 220 conversations at one time for the top 3 coaches in the network. So for me, when I hear Joe Cardon say tonight, you need to be having 10 new conversations just to be elite, that seems really doable. If someone told me, in order to succeed in this business, you need to be having 220 conversations, I'd be like, no way. Like, I don't want that, right? But 10, I can do that. I can do 10, or I can do 2 follow-ups, or I can do 2 reach outs, or I can do whatever. Like slowly build your way up to that level, right? So anyway, you got to figure this out on your own. I just wanted to put the tools in front of you so that you have them. But I do recommend listening to this call again, at least the logistics, and creating a goal plan for yourself. Yeah. Do you have a question, Abby?
I do. And sorry to take people's time if they don't care for the answer, but it has to do with Teamsy, and that is whether, since I'm nearing the end of my 30 days, I feel like I have the hang of it. But are we supposed to be like copying in their responses? I mean, are people tracking entire conversations or just like the first?
I would just do like sort of how you leave things, so that you know how you left things. That's how I've been doing it, just so that I know how the conversation left off.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need to contain the whole thing. I don't think that's. Katie, what are you doing? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just putting my first initial message to them. And then that way later when they come back up in your queue, you can click over on the right-hand side where it says history. You can see what you talked about. And then when you go to your messenger, you can see your history too. So sometimes I just put like a few words like since if I'm in the middle of talking to them, like asked about dog, like real quick. Like I usually will copy and paste like that first message, but then I might just like do a quick note otherwise. Is there a way in Teamsy for follow-ups? I remember when I watched the video, he said that there's a way to show like how many follow-ups you're doing. I don't know where to see that.
It's when you're sending a message, I need to fix this on mine too. You can set the follow-up time, and the default is like 90 days or something crazy. So, I mean, if you're sending an invite to someone, I haven't done it yet. Let me click over here. I think you can, like where it says their name, then next to it says follow-up default, you click the arrow, and you can fix it to tomorrow, in 2 days, 4 days, week, 2 weeks, month, year. And then so tomorrow, you click on your follow-up tab. I have no one in there, but if I had clicked tomorrow on people or 3 days and it's been 3 days, they will start to show up in that list.
Yep, they start to pop up.
Okay.
You have to do it yourself. You have to set it yourself.
Yep. Cool. All right, you guys, everything's been recorded. I'll have the recording uploaded tomorrow. If you have any questions in the meantime, or if you'd like to chat about this and your individual goals, I'm happy to do that. Thank you guys for being on tonight. Even if you don't mind sending Joe Cardon a message on Facebook, it's never a bad idea to follow corporate representatives, just so they can have their eye on you too. So Arnold Nakaha is the 7 through 10 star. Jeremy Red is 11 through 15. Joe Cardon is 3 through 6. And then Sydney Moyer is 1 and 2 stars. So I can list those out for you if you'd like, but if you search those names, Sydney, Joe Cardon, Arnold, and Jeremy Red, they should pop up because I'm friends with them. So definitely follow them, maybe even send him a message and thank him for his time, because obviously this was him staying late at work to help be on our call tonight. So any appreciation we can give him would be great. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you on the team page. Good night.